Nkoli. Ke lebue letsatsi le la le Modimo a mpeile go fihlela ke tlo ba mona sebakeng sena. Ke kgetho la bobedi ke fihla mona sebakeng sena sa Nkoli. Ngwana o ka tseditse mohlolo ka ntate Modimo ka o hlonolofatsa Karabo ka ntho tsohle. Thaka tsa ho di bone mohlala ho wena. Ke kopa ho rapela. Morana le Modimo wa rona Jehova. Ke rona bana ntate Amsalim ha o le jwalo ntate. Ha o ka lo mosebetsi, ha o ka lo kwena konyana e se rona konyana e lokileng. Ka o le bile ha o file motsotsonyana o nang ntate le sebaka sena. Re tlo fihla mosebetsing wa ngwana wa ngwana. Ha o le jwalo ntate e ba le gona le selelo le keneng ka mona batho ba keneng ka mona ka o fele ke batho ba Nkodi. Re fe matla ba le tshwarelle la konyana e lokileng. Mabitsong a mararo a tloana boko ba o sa feleng. Amen.
Amen. Re a leboha nkgono ka ha o so fihlile jwale re ka qala ke a utlwa ke matla re a leboha nkgono ha re tlwele hana mo mighty God o tsebe ha o hlonolofaditswe hae o hlonolofetse ile ka nnete. The blessing that comes from home far surpasses a blessing you will get anywhere else. Now today, I am. Can this person please stand? I'm gonna be English, ne? We must balance. This is South Africa. We must cover all languages. Ne? So please, if you can't, let somebody interpret for you. Is that good? Is that fine? Is that okay? Thank you. With your permission, of course. Now, the person I am. I'm not apologetic about it. It's something I do intentionally. Compliment. Because it does not cost me anything to compliment anyone. Do you understand me? Alright. On that note, Abuti Karabo Kikopoyem, the one and the only Karabo Nkoli. The only man with a white suit. You know, if you can see a man dressed in a white suit, you must know that there is something special about him. But I'm not on the suit. I am standing here as young as I am. I'm a mother. Now I have a concern for my daughter, that God, please bring into her life right men. Now, Karabo is the kind of man that I would pray that my daughter should meet. That he did not meet women in order to take advantage, but he met girls in order to provoke them, to push them, to inspire them to do great and better things in their lives. For that reason, please help me to give a sounding round of applause to Karabo Nkoli. Listen, haibe hauso khalimi ngwana hao ka Karabo, it means how to be Karabo. Haibe hauso ka o ngwana hao hobane o sa tshwane le Karabo, it means how to be Karabo. Haibe hauso ka ore hai magale a tina la tsebe why le sa tshwane le Karabo, it means how to be Karabo. How ka tseba Karabo, you will understand that habana baba baba pala di PlayStation ba tsuba di habli ba no bojwala ba nahana go bojwala ke maemo. Karabo are not me. Yes. Karabo I have better things. O tshwere buka ka pela hao, o tshwere buka eo sheba maqephe ya teng. That is not a paragraph, that is not a letter, that is not an essay. That is a book full of content, full of context, full of research, full full of investigation, well prepared, well written. But look at how young this boy is. Can I please call him a boy? Look at how young this boy is. Don't you wish your children would be like this? Instead of crying for PlayStation, instead of crying for All-Star, Lekavela, instead of balele all white, all white, but wana jwale ba bodi wetwa namhlanje senza umlando ba usuku olukhulu, and you're asking yourself, usuku olukhulu to do what are you doing with your life that you can say it's a big day? But here is a young man from the dusty roads of the Vaal Triangle. More but how about Vaal Triangle, but because of Karabo, I have valid Habana choice. Abut, I was here for the first book. Look at you now. They could have despised you and said, these few pages, and he calls himself an author. Look at you now. It is the prayer of my heart, and I believe it's your mother and your father and your grandmother, everybody in your family, and everyone seated here, that the woman that you will marry, she must not be a writer's block. She must not be a writer's block. God, when you go to negotiate, please make sure that that woman is not a writer's block. She must unleash, she must unlock, she must unearth other books that are still to be written. If she cannot co-write herself, but she must be the right person. I pray that in Tatemudim, Amen. You know, when I came here, if it was said Karabo Unisaba to the petrol, all the media houses would be running there. But here is a man who is doing good, who is doing well. Where are the media houses? Why is this not on TV? Why is this not on radio? But I believe the people who came today are the right people. It will be an error that this book does not make it among the best-selling books. It is actually our responsibility to make sure that this book reaches to the young people out there. Nyaupe must stop killing our children. Their minds must be restored. And here is a tool. Conscious in crisis. Do we agree that we're gonna make sure that this book makes it? Do we promise, Karabo, that we're gonna take this book to our friends, even to our enemies? It's fine, it will cause them to become friends with us. Don't be afraid anymore. Go out there, do it. You are a pathfinder. You are a person who sets the tone. You are a person who raises the bar. I said this to you, and I will say it again. Greatness is locked up within you. Don't be afraid to display it. Go out there and become a change maker of note. Become a distractor of note. Therefore, we appreciate you. We thank God because of you. Also, I will be sending my invoice to you. And since we started late, you must understand I charge per hour. Therefore, it's not my fault. I arrived here at 11:30 sharp. I was here. So next time when you call me, you must understand it's per hour. Therefore be sure. Ntotsa bo mafika late, bo African time, adisebetsi hun. Siyazwana. Thank you. I will send the invoice to the right bank account. Yet in Nantekidulale, we appreciate you. May the Lord bless you, and may you continue backing young people so that they can continue doing great things. Thank you so much.
And insult my intelligence not because we all know the truth. The patriarchy of ignorance over awareness and knowledge is dominating. The metamorphosis of the sense of humanity to flinching whenever a man raises their hand to wave at you, to men having to pay monthly installments to buy back the love women once had for them, to husbands turning into Mike Tyson, seeing their households as the battlefield and their wives and kids as the opponent, and to wives turning into Sarah Bedman, auctioning their mental health and emotional stability. And now that I got your attention, let me tell you about the men of this nation. How having no father figure has instilled a sense of imprisonment in one's ego. How money now defines their masculinity. How it makes them feel like they have some sense of entitlement. Like, since when does money make you man? Well, they say, since it can buy pleasure from women for them. And it's funny how they say cheap women are not worth it, while they're in for a penny, in for a pound. But yet we cannot blame them, can we? They're just trying to find a cup to pour in their sorrows. It must be hard being oppressed by societal expectations and only being allowed to cry when you see a coffin. And if I could, I'd purchase peace for them, because I am not the piece of meat that they should hunt. And don't get me started on the women of this nation. See, they have been groomed to be venal products of a famished world, a world that is ready to devour their strength and their independence out of their bloodstream, leaving them to mother a child-headed family with daughters. Oh, don't get me started on the daughters. With daughters that are looking for fathers in their boyfriends, searching their boyfriends' pockets for financial stability, because they were taught you can only find value in money. So ignore your mental independence. Now they're so mind dependent that they don't know that a desire for a nice life requires you to work for it. And don't tell me that a lost soul can lead this nation to a better future. See, our leaders' greediness has left us dancing in the lion's den to put up a show for the colonizers. They took what we had and made us believe that we don't have it. And they sold it to us and made us believe we needed it. And just like business, they called it globalization, but we all know that they're just being parasites. And I think we could have not been here. They could have not done what they did if we were one. And forget about unity. Forget about growing together. If the baton is passed from one gray hair to another, it is just a cycle of old ideas. We're not going to go anywhere. But it's easy to cast the first stone. It's easy to point fingers while the rest is facing itself. But let me tell you something. The blood is crying for vengeance. The blood that was planted, the tree of freedom, is now looking for young minds to blossom. It is time for us as young people to shake hands with our now.
Surprise! Surprise! Irumakelani, surprise, surprise! Bona Ubabu Alfred is coming on stage. Hey, Gusazo Bamnand. But you know why we are doing things like this? We are doing them so that whoever didn't come here lives to regret it. What a tragedy. Linguti, what a tragedy. But here to ba tshwanela be se re ba etsa re ba rekisetsa dibuka ena. For the sake of ba rekisetsa fela dibuka, we forgive them. Otherwise, now let us give Ubabu Alfred a big Can you please stand up on our feet? This man has earned us to stand on our feet. He has worked for us. He has served us year in, year out. I know most of them don't like this, but it's the little we can do for them. Can we please give him a sounding round of applause as he comes on?
God is very proud of you. God still loves you. And God is with us as we're still breathing, laughing, and celebrating. Ngicela sazi ukuthi nami ngizothanda ukubonga ngaye uNkulunkulu ukuthi angenze ngafika la. Ake ngithi abangi-invitile ngifike la. uNkulunkulu wenza ukuthi bangi-invite ngifike la. Ngithi uNkulunkulu ababusise. Ngithanda ukubonga kakhulu. Benga-expectanga ukubona abaningi babaza phambili. Bavele bathi ningi babe short data. Konje kufanele ngabe ngiqala manini kancane. Uyabona. Manje ngoba umuntu maka aphiwe, when you're given, by who? By God. Into zesilungu zifuna ngaso sonke isikhathi uhlale uziqaphile ngoba zingajikela endleleni. Akuzona ezethu. Sesabona nje kubeka umlomo nje nengane mayuthi ayikhulumi okuncane ngizokusho nje ngingathanda ukumosha isikhathi ukuthi ngendlela nami nginesami isiphiwo mfethu. Ufishane bami, I walk tall, but I'm still on the ground. I never walk on the air. I walk on the air. Mangbizu uNkulunkulu ukuthi yonke into engiplana, everything that I plan, he must be in front of me. What you did kuyimvela kancane bafana abanjengawe. Njengoba ngasho usisi yathi umlando. Bakhona basashaya ivosho namanje. Bakhona abanye bathi ayi baqeda nini sambeni ziyabuya kaAnka. Ziyabuya ka hurricane. Basibambelela bathe izoqala ngo1 iqeda ngo4. It's not about that. You have to listen to yourself because God is into you. And uNkulunkulu uyakwakha akwenze ube umuntu olindayo. Njengoba naye mahlala efika ungazi ukuthi uhamba lo or akuhambi lo kusala lo kuhamba lo or akuhambi lo ingendlela aplana ngakhona. Uma umisbehave ungazange walakha igama elithi hlonipha uyihlo nonyoko insuku zakhe zande ezweni. Angeke ukuthi uzothi makwazi ukuhaga umama akho usithi uNkulunkulu uzokwandisela insuku zakho. Go back where you come from. How did you behave lately? Is it your sorry necessary or you have to improve your sorry? Your sorry is something that is a key that you must be sure that it unlock your parent. Kuti parent yakhe ingahlali ukuthi mayingena endlini akubona yena. Even something that happened yesterday. The one thing that I told myself, I even talk about this at Kaya FM level on YouTube recently. At my house, we are the happy family. All the time. We are the Christian. Fullest. I thank God. Ukuthi nami wena ukwenza wafana nami. ngithembe ukuthi njengoba ngithi ufane nami uhamba lendlela engihambayo. Ibhuku liwumbono omuhle kuthina, but ukhona mhlambe okwakwenza okukhulu dad ukuthi qhamuke leli bhuku. Did you ever invite God ezinzulwini zobusuku bakho ukuthi God, make me think and know myself where I am standing? Ngubani ngiyaphi? By the way, April next year I'm turning 51 years. But I say thank you God for giving me the most precious wife that I've got in my life. The way they look at me, they say, it was too soon, man. I'm sorry. I've been taken. And then I'm proud where I am. Son, stand up. Thank you, God. There's two men in a house.
Yes.
We argue. But at the end, who's the lion in the house? I am the lion. But the only thing that you must know yourself is Ubuntu abushintsha umuntu. Uyohlala umuntu uzigqaja ngokwakho. Noma ubuka esipilini uthi ha. Noma uvuka ngo left nje uthi hayi. Hayi. Bangikhathe kahle yazi. La bangikhathe khona. Ngiyazibona nje lapha esipilini. Noma ngihamba nentombi nje mara noma intombi izongiphoqa. Sifike eshop ngithi babe uzo-order. Ingene la singene la kune special khona. Besithi mayifika khona ithi amabhoda abhaliwe, yazi lamabhoda abhala iminyango abhala special and this day, special on that day. Worst part it's Monday to Friday is special. Then the corner Saturday and Sunday is special. Esikhathi usitshelile umuntu nje udanye yaphuma namhlanje hamba nalo sisilo. Fika nayo sisilo na lapho ile ndawo mafika naye uthi ya hlala entulweni baby manje ungitshela uzo order at kuzi menu hayi man simple into zala zimnandi zonke besathi phakathi ubona ibhodi ibhaliwe waiter sorry can I take your order? Order. No, don't worry, baby. I saw something that I like. Will you please serve me with moon fry? That means Monday to Friday. Will you please serve me with moon fry? And we'll serve it also with setsa. How dare ntombazana ngithi ngiyakhipha wena uzongitshela ufuna into ebhale moon fry. They are talking about this is from Monday to Friday. When ufuna moon fry. Okay. Guys, let's attend the school. Asaben sofunda. Know something, try to explore. Ukuthi wazi ukuthi imenu, it's something that's got a taste different at home, but one thing that you know, at home, a meal from home is a key of happiness. ishop ye disaster because uzothola okhethiwe adufuni moon fry isi-serve ngesetsan. Ngithanda ukubonga ngiphume lapho ngithi ngibuya kuwe bhuti wami ngithi bhuti wami, what have you done? And this step osithathile siqotho lokuqalile ungakuyekeleli lokho kwenzile mfowethu ngicela ungaziyenyezi khula undlondlobalo uNkulunkulu ukubekela okuningi ngaphambili Ntombovu bisizulu mina makuthiwa umuhle umhlophe uthe qwaki Ntombovu lokho sitshele wona la kungenile kwahlala kwathi ke ekhanda kwangena komama kwathi qhe inhlizweni zabo ngithembe ukuthi nakuwe awusibrayibanga mawuphuma ngalomnyango uba ushintsho uba umbono emantombazaneni yangithola fundisa abaningi nabadala nathi thina siyafunda le nkulumo ezikhulumela ngiyaqhubeka ngathi ngicimeza ngasengibuyele emuva ngathi phambili ithi masibuya ekhaya ilambile izofuna uku-overloada i-energy le eyikhiphile ukuthi izojabulisa abani wena mzali okhona ekhaya ngokwazi ukuthi ingane mayiphuma ekseni esikolweni bese ingane ithi baba ngicela imali yokuthenga isinkwa ngilambile uyayibona ingane igqoke uniform hayi mele umama akho uzokuthengela in few minutes, not even that minutes, few seconds ukhipha imali engango 50 rand uthengane naye hambe ukuthengela i20 Stevenson isibone sinjani leso enganeni uwe ubuya esikolweni uthi baba ngicela ungithengele isinkwa that time bokuyi simple thing yabo 12 rand 50 15 rand i20 Stevenson it's much expensive and it's yambulala umuntu thengela umntwana isinkwa ngeke uthenge lo lustro yakho efuna ngoba usiza ingane ngokuyijabulisa ukuyibonga lokuthenga kwakho isinkwa ukuthi dlani nasi isinkwa hayi ukuthi wena uzocabangela wena uthenga ukwayi nokuthi uthengele ingane isinkwa kumhlungu lo game kuyenzeka na game ngisafunda isikole basasithuka ko $20 but nami ngithi umfana aqhubekele phambili anginawo amaningi bengazimiselanga bengizele nje nami leli ibhuku so bona ukuthi leli ibhuku liquketheni ngaphakathi kanti liqukethe umnotho ophuma ohlaziwe engqondweni yakhe lo uzosibonisa ubumnyama nokukhanya okungaphambi kwethu esingazange sabucabanga sasizwa insizwa esakhulu ukuthi asiqapheleni sibe abantu ababheka izinyathelo zethu ngaso sonke isikhathi ngithanda ukubonga kakhulu.
The firstborn among 3 boys, his love for books and reading stems back when Karabo was 9 years old, when he requested his parents to buy him Long Walk to Freedom. Hasisindarela. So banaba hona we must buy them what? Long Walk to Freedom. Now he started writing. He started writing Angola, his own book, Whispers of Life. In 2014, when he was only 12 years old, 12 years, just 12 years, and he wrote, completed, published, and launched his own book. And when he was doing that, he went to look for publishers all by himself, and then came back home and said, Daddy, Mommy, surprise, surprise. Kiseki published a book. I am now a published author. Now on December the 23rd, 2016, he was awarded a youth awards as a rising star by an organization called YB20. In 2022, Nkoli had published his second book, this one that you are having on your table or in your hand. It is his second book. Experience he's an experienced and award-winning author. This is his second book, which he is launching today, and the foreword was done by Dr. Mampile Rampela. On 16 June 2022, he, along with Youth Must Rise, joined the youth parade by the Ahmed Kathrada Youth Activism Program with 97 other organizations, where more than 1,000 young people from a range of organizations marched to the union buildings in Pretoria in pursuit of systemic change. In a memorandum handed over to the presidency, they demanded action on issues such as unemployment, unequal education, and gender-based violence. These are young people who are saying, this is our country, and we cannot allow things to go wrong more and more while we watch and wonder what's happening. On 31st July 2022, he received the African Honorary Author Award for Awakening Nations Through Conscience in Crisis. He is a poet, a youth activist, a Pan-Africanist, a mentor to top up and coming young authors, the leader of the Youth Must Rise movement. He is a leader of Youth Must Rise movement. This is the movement that our sons and daughters must affiliate with. Because of his love for his country and his dedication to the service, upliftment, and empowerment of society and the youth, he has been named Son of the Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, dames and nyere, manene na manenekazi, bomme le bontate, please help me to welcome on stage our very own Karabo Nkoli, a boy like no other, a boy of a great caliber, a poet, an answer to the crisis we are faced with, a man of difference, a man who inspires change, a man who provokes people to reach their destiny, a man who says age is but a number, but what matters is what you carry. What matters is what is in your mind. He is saying today, we cannot allow abnormality to become normality. It is time to rise and say, not with our children, not with our women, not with our mothers, not with our country, not with our continent. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand on your feet as we welcome Karabo Nkoli.
You may be seated. I'd like to take this opportunity to greet all of you. You are all so beautiful. Thank you for loving me, your country, your continent, and the youth of this country. I would love to thank and acknowledge the presence of all the dignitaries who are here today. I would also love to start off by paying tribute to my parents. Many times when children tell their parents of their dreams, and parents see their talents. Many times parents don't support their children and invalidate their talents. But however, with me, this has not been the case. I started writing my first book in 2014 when I was 12 years. So I went to look for publishers all on my own, and many publishers rejected my work with the notion that it was impossible for a young person like myself to be a writer. However, my parents were my pillars, as they contributed immensely to the ultimate publication of my first book, Whispers of Life, which was launched exactly on this day 6 years ago, 22 October 2016. So I am grateful for their love and support. I would also love to thank Dr. Mampela Rampele for her unwavering support throughout the publishing and writing process of Conscious in Crisis, and for also gracing me with her words in the foreword of the book. I would also love to thank my siblings, Homoto and Khauhelo, and all my friends for the support, and also for being the first students of the content I have unpacked in Conscious in Crisis. And lastly, I would like to thank my elders, both alive and departed, for their support, guidance, and how they have lifted me up in love. So may the souls of Mamuwini Madikizela Mandela, Ahmed Kathrada, and Ndum Langeni continue to rest in power. It was in 1996 when Mamleta Mbulu released her song, Not Yet Uhuru, and saw the excitement and euphoria in the country regarding the attainment of political freedom. But what triggered the song was what she had seen in Alexandra and Orlando, seeing that there was a lot of work to be done and also a lot of poverty that existed in the country. At the time, she received a lot of backlash for questioning whether we are really free and what next beyond voting only. With the current state of our country, with 28 years of democracy, the song remains highly relevant. There is nothing normal with the current state of our country, which is why there is a need for all of you to be conscious in the midst of the crisis we are facing. To be honest, I never had intentions to write a book, yet alone 2 books. But my love for the youth of this country and my love for the people of this country led me to write so that people would question the state of their country and also find solutions to the problems they are facing. Because instead of being a complainer of the state of your country, be the catalyst of that change you want to see become a reality. The crisis that we are faced with today is one that consists of high unemployment rates, rape, gender-based violence, gangsterism, and killings in schools, and also China's neo-colonialism of Africa and South Africa. The problem is we have become comfortable. So in these arranged marriages, we realize how rape is institutionalized in the name of marriage. Because of this, then, abductions and rape were a norm, especially in a society where questioning things was a taboo thing to do. So, Nyashakwa Rikwenda from the University of Cape Town conducted research in the rural parts of the Eastern Cape with old survivors of what is termed Ugutwala. This Ugutwala term has broad meanings amongst our Nguni languages, but in this instance, it is about abductions to make customary marriage happen quickly. And families arranged these type of marriages, and they refused to be there for the victims even when they had been raped. So, the rape crisis in this country did not begin recently, it began years back when that happened. The rape crisis in this country is a wound that is destroying the soul of our nation day and night. Which is why when a 91-year-old grandmother recalled her rape, she said, "I did not die, but after I was raped, something in me died." Those words echo the state of many who are rape victims in our country. I lost one of my mentees on the 28th of October 2020. She had died in a tragic car accident just a few months after she had been raped. And I am the only person that knew, not even her mother or closest friends knew. What I don't understand to this day is why she died such a painful death when her spirit had already been broken by her rapist. What's more saddening though is that her rapist continues to live life normally, perhaps even destroying more lives because of how he didn't account for this criminal act. So there are thousands of others who die without seeing justice served in our country. Think about all those victims who don't see justice being served because of our country. Our justice system fails those it is supposed to protect. Tell me, how do you expect those who are rape victims to speak out when the Forensics Services Laboratory has more than 100,000 unsolved DNA cases? When police women even advise female rape victims to not speak out because they will not get justice. In this country, there are more rapists outside our prison walls, much more than in prison. Many who are victims of sexual abuse have suffered intractable headaches, strange outbursts of anger, bipolar depression, amongst others. So we have to realize that this is a crisis that goes beyond 16 days of activism, marches, and hashtags. Also, the thing is, this is a country where things are not normal. This is a country where, as a woman, you visit your boyfriend at his place only to live in a rubbish bin or zipped in body bags. When it comes to the issue of rape, families and churches are amongst the biggest rape apologists in the country. There are too many people who have been sexually abused in the name of religion because of pastors who use their religious positions to sexually abuse congregants, while they are being protected by the same congregants. When victims speak out in churches, the congregants say it is spiritual attacks against their pastors, when they know those who have suffered this pain. How sick is that? So we have to realize that this is a crisis in our country. There was even a case in February 2019 where an 11-year-old boy had raped a 6-year-old girl on the premises of Sugumani Primary School, where this boy would drag this girl to the toilet and perform sexual acts on her. When this happened, when she got home, she couldn't take off her uniform. And one day her brother realized that she had peed on herself. And by mentioning this, I want you to realize that this is a reflection of how bad rape is in our country. Because it cannot be normal that we are having boys as young as 11 who find rape fashionable and seeing women as sexual objects. Even the case of teenage pregnancy confirms on how bad rape culture is in our country. Many who are pregnant under the ages of 13 and 14 are rape victims, pedophilia victims, and incest victims who have no voices because of how they are shunned by society, instead of us questioning on who has impregnated them and their ages. In 2017-18, 2,716 girls aged 14 and younger gave birth, and it keeps on getting worse every day. We have to question as a society on what it is that turns boys into men that rape, abuse, and murder women. Today's schools have become war zones instead of learning institutions. Scissors that we used to cut papers are now being used as scissors to kill in classrooms. Today, learners take knives, pangas, and all sorts of weapons to schools because our youth are out to kill one another. Our schools have become war zones, and this is a ticking time bomb for our generation. Instead of using our hands to build one another, we are using our hands to kill one another because of other young people. Even gangsterism is still high amongst our youth. Those who are very familiar with the Vaal know very well of gangsterism that has emerged any initiation schools on Tens in Sebukeng, Mopeme in Bophelong, Alaska, and Born to Kill in Bitumelo. These are our own young people who have become drug addicts who terrorize our society day and night. Gang rape young women and assault their parents. It is a reality that some initiation schools today exist because of recruiting new members to their gang squads. Even in the Cape Flats, children go out to play only to get killed because of gangsterism there. It had been found that 261 children were either wounded or killed between 2010 and 2016 due to gangsterism. So the reality is we are dying and we are killing one another. Instead of us confronting the root of our problems, we are pointing fingers at one another. We are waging a war against each other instead of us waging a war against the challenges we are facing, which is why there is no end of colonization currently. It has just evolved. Africa was first colonized by the Arabians, then colonized by the Europeans, and now Africa is being colonized by the Chinese. Reality is there is another wave of colonization upon our country and continent. The founding father of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, in 1965 said, "The result of foreign capital is used for exploitation rather than for the development of the less developed parts of the world." He continued saying that investment under neocolonialism increases rather than decreases the gap between poor and rich countries of the world, unquote. Even the state of our country confirms this. The unemployment rate, the inequality levels, and poverty in the country are all a reflection of neo-colonialism at work in our country. Do you know that the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, was a project fully funded and built by China? Construction began in 2009 by the China State Construction Engineering Corporation, where a majority of material were brought from China with a mix of Chinese managers and Ethiopian laborers. This has often been referred to as China's gift to Africa. My question is, at what expense? Because even now, many African countries are sitting with huge debts owed to China. We are being enslaved economically as a result of these loans. Even the state of our country confirms this. There are hundreds and hundreds of investors that come into the country annually, while the unemployment rate keeps on increasing. And then I'm back again. So, as I was saying, that we are now being colonized by the Chinese. So, after the passing of Minister Jackson Muthembu, citizens of South Africa were surprised of having Dr. Joame Havad as Member of Parliament, as a replacement of Muthembu. But what many don't know, though, is that there have been 5 Chinese members of Parliament in our country dating back to 2004. While in Lesotho recently, there was a Chinese man running to be a member of Parliament in Lesotho. While in the eastern region of Ghana, there was a Chinese national who was crowned as chief. Question is, do we have any Africans who are councillors, mayors, or members of Parliament in China? So reality is, your leaders are to be blamed for neocolonialism and not the Chinese. if our country could be colonized or captured rather by the Gupta family, what makes you think that our country cannot be colonized or captured by a powerful country like China? Which is why in Anthony Aristide once said that losing a language is a major setback for everyone, because along with losing the language, you lose the stories, the poems, and the songs, and all of those things are of immense importance to all of us as human beings. It happened that in Ghana in 2018, in Uganda, they outlined their plans to add Mandarin to the secondary school curriculum. That would be compulsory for 2 years and optional thereafter. While in South Africa, on the 6th of September 2016, the Minister of Education, Meenji Motshekga, outlined plans to launch the Mandarin teaching program. And then let me remind you also that in April 2020, Africans were being forced to test for COVID in a city from China. There were restaurants that refused to serve black customers. Africans were sleeping on the streets, although they had paid their Chinese landlords their due rent. At the departmental store, there was an African woman that was denied entry while her white friend was allowed in. At a McDonald's restaurant, there was a notice up saying, "Black people cannot come in." So our people must realize that China, like all other foreign powers, is not in Africa to serve the interests of Africans, but to pursue its agenda that will have the country and the continent crippled in the name of investment when it is actually looting. The only difference between us and the youth of 1976 is that we share the same skin color as our oppressor today. Our people today are not dying from wars, but from economies whereby certain powers must pull nations down. I do not hate the Chinese. Rather, I hate their well-calculated mission of taking over Africa. But through it all, there is hope. There is no rise of our youth and women without the rise of women. Misunderstanding and misinterpretation of scriptures in religion has caused males in religious positions to mistreat the women, justifying their mistreatment of the female by talking about what Eve had done in the beginning. Yet it is women who have shaped, produced, and taught great human beings. Therefore, women are a necessity to the involvement of advancing our society. No woman should be abused. We must respect and protect women. As men, we should take personal pleasures to never disrespect and abuse women. Women are not slave queens. Rather, they are revolutionary queens. There is no rise of our youth without the rise of women. If we are going to build a nation that the world is going to admire, we cannot be guilty of oppression, racism, tribalism, sexism, materialism, or any kind of ism that distracts our rise and prevents us from fulfilling our mission as a generation. We are to blame when things happen because we hashtag on social media and then think we have solved unity. We must turn our pain into power and our struggle into strength, because progress can only happen when every one of you, young and old, take responsibility in changing our society for the better. Because instead of being a complainer of the state of your country, be the catalyst of that change you want to see become a reality. The youth of 1976, the generation of the likes of the Miriam Makerbas, Robert Sobukas, and all of them have fulfilled their mission. My question to you is, what is the mission of our generation? We have been paid for by those who came before us. Rivers of blood were spilled so that we could be here today. We must always remember that hundreds and hundreds of men, women, and children lost their lives for political freedom in the country. Remember those revolutionaries who never lived to make it back home, those who fought and perished in the Liberation War, the ones who did not make it back home, whose bones and dead body litter the continent of Africa. So the question is, my question to you is, what is our mission as a generation? Because we have been paid for, and we have the responsibility of paying for those who are yet to come. We have a responsibility of paying for those who are yet to come because we have been paid for. Live your life remembering that by destroying society, you are destroying yourself. And by building society, you are building yourself. Because those who will come into this society will inherit this society in the state we would have left it in. So I want to challenge all of you that let us create a culture of intolerance, because there is nothing normal with the current state of our country. So this is a time that demands you to rebel. This is a time that demands you to be conscious so that you may rebel. Rebel in the name of love, justice, and prosperity of our people. The youth's cause must and will triumph. Thank you.